In September 2015, Nigeria, alongside other nations, became committed to the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs), a set of 17 goals that encompass development priorities to improve the quality of lives of people and protect the environment for the next 15 years with a due date of 2030.
Jury Foundation is a platform for young people to be able to identify problems in their communities as well as profile solutions to those problems, because we believe that young people are change agents and many of them are just looking for platforms to express themselves in resolving issues they've recognized in the society. And I'm also a 2016 Mandela Washington Fellow of the Young African Leaders Initiative that was set up by President Obama. We've set up SDG clubs in 3 schools in Nigeria so as to be able to get young people to be aware of what the SDGs are and to be able to take actions to be able to address some of the issues captured in the SDGs.
Before now, I never really knew anything about the SDGs club, but as of now, I know what the abbreviation SDG stands for, which is Sustainable Development Goals. And I never really knew anything about the club before joining it.
The SDG club has motivated me in a way that it encourages me to find more problems and ways to solve them.
It had made me believe in myself and also make me believe that I can do things on my own.
SDG Club has motivated me in life. Before I could not stand in front of audience that much because I have stage fright. But because of it, I can now stand in front of audience because that builds my motivation of shyness.
It was hard for me to come out boldly and talk in the presence of people. But with SDG, I have learned how to be bold and talk in public.
Experience so far has been good because before I joined the club, I had a lot of ideas, a lot of things on my mind, like I want to do this, one day I want to be known for helping to do this or to do that. And I never really knew how to come across it. I never really knew how I would be able to do that. But then with the goals here, and it creates a platform for me to be able to let my voice be heard and for me to be able to reach out to other people. So I really see it as a very good experience so far and as a very good opportunity to include myself in this.
Okay, yes, it has. The SDG Club program has helped me to know that there are other people out there that need my help. Not only the help of adults, like even us too, we have a way to go out and then make people know that, okay, yes, and then let people know that people are here to help them and so that they can feel happy too.
SDG has affected my life as a student in many areas. It has made me to think of how to help other people and also how to make life better for myself and people that live around me. It is a wonderful experience to me because some of them had no idea about SDG before this project. So it was good to see them getting to know about SDG, learning how to contribute to get success.
Today, about 70% of Nigeria's population are young people whose contributions to the SDGs will be critical to its delivery in Nigeria, as the outcomes of the SDGs will impact them greatly, either in the positive or negative, depending on how and who drives the process in the country. It is in response to the SDGs that a team comprising of Mandela Washington Fellows in Nigeria and Jury Foundation, a youth empowerment NGO, established SDGs clubs in 3 schools.
Jury Foundation, we have always wanted to impact the younger generation, and so we felt going to the schools and having a club that would inspire and assist people to really understand what the problems or challenges of the world are and how to solve them would go a long way in solving the problems, contemporary challenges that we have in our world today. And this necessitated the idea to form the SDG Club in schools.
The approach of the SDG Club is actually experiential learning, where young people learn by doing. And the SDG Club programs are built around 5 components. First is the Know Your Goals series, which we use fun activities to educate these children. And I would like to state that the schools we are working with are schools for regular children and schools for children with special needs. 2 of them are schools in Abuja, Premier Academy in Abuja here, and Late British International School in Abuja. And the 3rd school is Demonstration School for Deaf Children in Kaduna, and that is working with special people. So our activities are very innovative, so we can be able to communicate to these special groups. And one of the tools we use is our SDG handbook, which we produced by ourselves, and it basically talks about the SDGs in the way that would be interesting to young people, in the way that they can learn about it, in the way that they can engage it. And we are hoping that more people can be able to have access to this book so they can learn about the SDGs and engage with it in their communities as well.
Wonderful objective to help young people to understand not just academically or intellectually what the SDGs really mean, but to understand how they can make a difference in their lives and through their own lives in their own communities by helping governments to implement the SDGs and doing what they themselves can do to make them a reality. Because, you know, I was talking to the school kids in there about the responsibility that government has. Of course, they have a responsibility, but then we all have a responsibility.
We have talked about so many things that have helped me both in school and outside school. We have treated so many things and we have talked about so many ways that we can help the school and our community.
The problem I'd like to rectify is poverty. I would like to, because we are in the West African region now, and then our main problem is poverty. And the way to go about it is like making schools, like free schools at least, because one of the reasons why we have illiteracy in our country is because of no money to pay for the school fees. So I would like to build schools, because if you go to most of the poor places in Nigeria, most of them are really illiterate, like 90% of them are illiterate. You hardly find somebody that is literate that is poor. So I would like to rectify the problem of no poverty.
That I will advise children not to have many children in order to reduce poverty. And I will advise people to embark on farming as well.
What I've learned in school, I feel like I can teach some people. I can let them know what I have learned so that they too can be able to share my knowledge. And my other goal that I like is also gender equality. I've come to see this goal as my best because even before joining the SDGs Club, I've always had this in mind every time, because as a girl, as a female, I know that in the society at large, the larger community, a lot of women aren't treated how they're supposed to be treated. A lot of women aren't given the opportunities they're supposed to be given. Even when they're given the opportunities, they don't get the reward that they're supposed to get. Rather, most times it's always the men or whatever. And I'm not saying that this is bad, but I'm just saying that there's no harm in balancing like the opportunities given to the two sexes. I'm not saying there's anything, I'm just looking for the equal treatment. And I've always had this in me to just try and argue it out, like make people understand my point of view, that they should see this in my own perspective. But I've never really had the platform to be able to use to get my voice out until I met the SDGs Club.
And another aspect of the club is life skills theatre, because we believe that as young people growing, you meet challenges every day. And there are some skills that you may not be able to acquire from your regular school. So they need to acquire those life skills, skills around critical thinking, problem solving, skills around personal effectiveness, time management, skills on even financial literacy, you know, because we want young people to be financially included.
SDG Club has taught me creative writing. In different ways. I have learned quite in SDG Club. Before I was in SDG Club, I didn't know how to write much. I couldn't speak. I was quite a very shy boy. But now it's taught me how to compose myself.
Well, the creative writing influenced me, especially on the essay competition, as I got fourth position due to that method. It simply taught me the way of using originality and not from other people's work, so as to make my work genuine and authentic. Well, all my life I've not been a very good student at creative writing or writing in general. But since I got to year 10 and I started SDG clubs, we talked about creative writing a lot and we did some practicals which has really helped me. I've been seeing improvements in my English language.
Time management is how to keep ourselves focused with the little time we have to work with. I understand time management as using the time available properly to achieve a set goal in life, especially in the area of business or trade or learning a skill.
Okay, we've learned about time management, which has been yielding interest. At least the students have been managing their time well, and I think one of which helped us to go to the extra mile of getting work clock for the schools. The school we went for our community service.
Okay, for every organization there must be challenges, and the challenges I have faced have not been the ones I could not summon. I was able to galvanize and summon the challenges. Now my major challenge has always been time consciousness. Sometimes they don't used to finish, some of them don't used to finish their class in time, so they used to take 1 or 2 minutes before they come to the meeting. So that is the major challenge, but so far so good. I love their participation in the club.
It has exposed them to different aspects of development. For example, education, clean environment, health and sanitation, community service, and many other things. Many of them are excited to learn and to share with their friends and families the experience they have got.
It was when one of our meetings together was when they brought the deaf man, a deaf man to come and show us how they communicate, tell us what they don't like, what they like, and how they communicate with each other.
When these guys came and they said they wanted to establish a club, SDG club in the school, honestly, I was over the moon. I was so happy that at long last, a group of people are thinking of the children. I also know that working with the children, the limitation of their vocabulary and language, but that didn't deter us. I told them, look, they may not be fluent or they may not communicate very effectively, but as long as you explain what you want to them and they understand it, I tell you, you will be amazed at what they can do. So they also, and I told them that once the teachers are there to interpret for them and they understand what you are doing, they will be able to cope. And
it went down to our level as students. It wasn't as if, I learned they were doctors, some, other professions, but they were so much understanding. Our students were really eager for them to come. Our club days are always Wednesdays, every fortnightly, but because of the way they were so much interested in the club, we had to fashion out another additional day, which was every Saturday, every other Saturday, so that we could, you know, really meet with the facilitators. And among all that came, they were all very wonderful.
That the program is even practical. Most of the goals are practicable. So it makes it very interesting for the children, and they always want to participate. Even when we didn't have much time, we created, like having to do it twice in a week sometimes. We do it on Wednesdays, they sometimes come on Saturdays, and you see the children willing.
Been very awesome because the children are motivated naturally to be in the club. So I love the experience because they give me the reason why I should be a coordinator. They motivate me with the way they take the goals, the way they are passionate about the goals, and the way they are passionate about the attainment of the goals. Some of them have 1 or 2 goals they want to ensure that they are achieved, and I'm very happy about that. And I know anybody that is out to ensure the attainment of the sustainable development goals will also be happy about that.
As an extracurricular and civic activity for young Nigerians in secondary schools, the SDGs Club has aided in increasing awareness of club members and youth volunteers on Nigeria's development challenges, and has also empowered them to undertake youth-driven interventions and community projects for addressing same in their communities.
Sun zo da 'yan makaranta, sun zo suka yi mana shara, gurin ma ya zama very clear. Da har ma kowa ya zo yana tambayar su waye suka zo suka yi wani aikin. Sai muka faɗi cewa wata ƙungiya ne daga da yake akwai yaro na a makarantar. Saboda haka gaskiya ni na ji daɗin abin da suka yi sosai.
Even me, the kids have coped far beyond my expectation, because they put their hearts to it. Every Saturday since December, they come here every Saturday to learn about the sustainable development goals, and honestly, they so understand it. They can express themselves. They can tell you what they will do to make these things work. And to cap it all, they went for an exchange program in Abuja, and they were so able to express themselves that they even won trophies and brought back to the school.
To go to Abuja just last Friday, and for the first time in the history of this school, they all came back smelling. What I mean, there were about 4 very, very important awards they came home with. This has never happened in the history of this school. I, being the administrator of the school Facebook, I posted there, and I knew what is going on. More than 4,400 and something people have seen it and like it, and coming are running like water. People are even calling us to comment us. This is very, very positive impact, and we pray and hope that more of this will surely come.
My experience so far has been awesome. First and foremost, I think one thing over the time with volunteering with the SDG Club I learned is the fact that as a young individual, I have a lot to contribute to a better society, to a better world. And then I would say, especially with respect to the persons in Jury Foundation, it's been a great kind of a motivation for me to see young individuals, young minds coming together to do things, to organize programs, and then you at the back, at one corner of your mind, you're like, wow, this is really impressive. You as a young person growing up, you have that feeling that you could also do something great, like these persons are doing. And then aside that, going to the schools, you get to meet with the students, they share their ideas with you, ask you questions, and you feel like, wow, this is really impressive. And then aside that, there's this opportunity to mentor young ones, young minds. So it's been a wonderful experience generally.
Greatest challenges are the communication. Even though we are learning some little sign language, we can communicate with them, but there are some times that we don't understand them, even when they try to sign some things, and if we talk, they don't understand us. But apart from that, there are no major challenges.
It has actually been a jolly ride for me because, first of all, someone saw my passion for volunteerism, especially for the SDGs, and he introduced me to the platform, to the Jury Foundation platform. And for the few months I've been with them, it has really been, I don't know the word to use right now, but awesome. It's been awesome, yeah.
It is therefore imperative to get young Nigerians involved in driving the SDGs through educational, mentoring, and community development programs.
My boy has become very time conscious. Before now, I will be the one to wake him up, hurry him up to go to school. But now, he's the one that wakes me up to give him money to go to school. Most of the times, I ask him to wait a little, let it be 7 o'clock before he will go to school. Because most of the time, because of him, I've been waking up by 5 now. Because by 5, he'll be up, prepare himself, eat, take his bath, and go to school. At times, it will be too early. So he's very conscious. And any time I tell him that we are going to so place, he will be ready before any other person. So I think this program has really helped him in that wise.
I used to be a boy who spent money very wastefully. I spent my money like so much, to the extent that my dad had to actually cut my account card. He destroyed it.
And in controlling his finances, he's conscious now that he needs money to do other things. And he needs to create money, let me put it that way, because he brought one slippers home one day and told me that is what they did in school, that is 1,000 naira. I said, yeah, yes, I have to pay for it. So I called, I think, one of the teachers, and they told me, yes, that's it. So now he saves money a lot. Anything he wants to buy, he will save money. If somebody gives him a gift, cash gift, he will save it. He won't waste it on anything until he wants to buy something.
When I joined the club, it taught me how I could manage my money. I'll use it on myself and also use my money to help others.
The program was one of my best experiences so far. It's my first time of talking to people who are deaf and dumb. I've never talked to them before, so it was my first time. And I'm very happy for Jury Foundation for what they have done on that day. You know, I discovered that working with the deaf and dumb is a very hectic problem, because identifying them and knowing the sign language for them to understand what you are talking about is a very difficult job. But seeing them for the first time and interacting with them, at least I was able to know how to greet in sign language, like good morning, my name, and other things. So I'm very happy for Jury Foundation for what they did on that day.
The program was worth organizing, in the sense that the students came together from different backgrounds. Some were from a rich background, some were from poor background, some by way of nature they cannot speak, while some could speak. But when they came together, there was this kind of receptiveness among the students, which was so amazing. For example, there was a child in one of the schools, which is a conventional school, who can speak and also sign. So when he came, they were able to mingle together, make friends, who build partnership, which is part of the SDG. For us to achieve these goals, we must partner with each other. And the partnership they build from that exchange, we believe it can go along in sustaining even after their school program.
Well, community development is a service that is rendered in a particular place in a community to at least help in one way or the other they are suffering, or they are past what it is they are going through that they want to be solved immediately or in a long term.
They came with one of our son, a child of ours. So they introduced him to us from their school, and now they ask him. They tell us that they want to find out what did we need here importantly.
This SDG club, we have a boy who is from that community where they do the slaughter. That's the abattoir. His father is even the chairman of the abattoir itself, and is a member of the SDG. So we later decided and picked abattoir because we want them to know, that's the people there in the slaughter, to know that these deaf children have abilities. They have abilities in their disabilities, and they are capable of doing certain things.
The project the school implemented were based on the needs of the communities, and they were right projects. Even the project, the students in demonstration school in Kaduna, which is the cleaning of the abattoir, which is based on the sanitation, which is part of the SDG, was well accepted by the community in which they implemented that project in. So it's very, very welcoming and amazing what these children are doing with great ideas.
They assist us in cleaning part of the abattoir. They did a job which we were very much encouraged.
Well, SDG is broad, and it encompasses almost everything in life. It does not only deal with poverty, hunger, clean environment and sanitation, good water. It also talks on quality education. And I'm pretty sure if children in that region have good education, the next thing, by the time they are educated, they will start thinking of how to develop the area on their own. They will be thinking of how to clean up the area. They will be thinking of how to provide water and other necessary things on their own. So really, I see education as something that is really necessary in that environment.
It is anticipated that the SDGs clubs will continue to enable young Nigerians contribute to Nigeria's drive in improving the lives of its people and in protecting the environment.
Personally, I think yes. I would speak from my service here in the NYC. We were able to establish 3 clubs in about 3 schools, government schools, where we go during the club days on Fridays. And the reception has been massive. All we just need to do is to get more passionate people on board for the SDGs. And if we can get that, we can sustain it. It's sustainable.
Well, I love all the schools because they are all unique in their various ways. You know, I'm particularly emotionally touched by Demonstration School of School for Deaf Children in Kaduna because there is really ability in disability when you work with them. In fact, there is nothing those guys cannot do. There is nothing those kids cannot do. They shocked us during the exchange program, and right from the very first day we went there, from the plays they acted, you know, from their responses during the sessions, we knew that the world is actually going to be a better place by the year 2030 when the SDGs are done.
I think the first thing will be to work alongside with the necessary boards like the Secondary Education Board, the UBEC and others. And then you'd have to, the thing is, you have to make them see reasons to understand what this club is all about. Most of these boards, when you walk up to them to tell them you have this initiative, that initiative, the first impression they give you is you're not ready to listen to you. And generally, I won't have to blame these ones because when you do not have an understanding of what something is, you don't seem to buy the idea at the first instance. So far with the work that has been done, the enormity of what has been done, I feel they would buy into the idea and see that, okay, this is this is a different idea with a better initiative and towards a better goal. So I think another thing should be the fact that awareness is very important. If you don't have a good awareness about what something is, if you're not properly enlightened about what something is, you would generally not buy into the idea. So I think another thing is probably we could organize a program to enlighten these stakeholders so they begin to understand and know where they as the board can come into play.
Going forward, would like to actually extend the club to, yes, public schools in Abuja and other states as well. And we'll be looking forward to working with relevant stakeholders like the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on the SDGs, and as well as with the FCT Secondary Education Board, with UNDP and other international partners. We want to really extend the club to other schools so that more young people can become aware of the SDGs and be able to engage with it to resolve issues within their communities. More so would actually want to share most of the handbook, the SDG handbook, with more students across Nigeria so that they can learn about it from wherever they are. The success of the SDG Club and School project wouldn't have been possible without the contributions of the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria through the Alumni Engagement Innovation Fund, which they sponsored the project financially. And I also want to thank the management, the school management of Premier Academy Demonstration School for Deaf Children, Kao Kaduna, Lead British International School, Gwarimpa, Abuja, for their support, and for also the club coordinators in the schools, because we had to work with teachers in the schools who committed their time to mobilize the students, to get them organized for our club activities, and all our volunteers, young people, the NYSC, core members that have worked with us throughout this project. We really appreciate you. We're hoping that together we can do more, and all the Jury Foundation volunteers as well, and all the jury staff members who have actually committed their time in, organizing this project. We really, really appreciate everyone, and thank you.